Alright, hey, we're back again. Back at the homestead, and we are doing something different. We got the finished grade and the concrete done on the cabin foundation, and here we are. We are improving the driveway. You guys remember what we were dealing with last, some of the first videos we made? We showed the driveway and springtime and how muddy it really is. It's raining again. Every day I come out here, I try to get up and down the driveway. It's a sloppy mess. I had to put my truck in four-wheel drive, off-road mode, and I get a run at it and spray mud all over. And so here's what we're doing. We're dealing with the excavator today, my favorite tool. We're gonna get this. This is all just dirt. You know, this dirt here. This is what it looks like underneath. This is beautiful. I mean, this is basically, that's pit run gravel right there. I mean, by any sense of the word, yeah, there's a little bit of dirt that fell on the sides, but that doesn't really matter. We're talking about a primitive driveway in the woods here. We're not talking about a road downtown or something. I started with the excavator right here at the dirt line and just started coming this way, and it's right into the gravel, like immediately. So here we go. Here's our dig. We go up the driveway, we excavate as we go, we get everything right down to the gravel so it looks like this. You know, nice rocks and sand. And it's freaking raining today. It's raining on me. Okay, we come up here. Now you see the mucky, hard mud surface that I scraped down with the box blade. So that's what I did yesterday. And there's a couple soft spots up there. So we're gonna dig. I gotta get back in there. Oh, it's nice in here. Ooh. Tell you one thing, tractor versus excavator. If I get my choice, take my hat off, don't know where to put it. Oh, one little hook, that's all you get. You get one little hook. I got my lunch bag hanging up there in my other coat. It's pretty cold out today. It's not super bad though. It's like 49, 48, somewhere in there I think when I pulled up. We're dealing with September, end of September going into October. And we're trying to get this done before winter comes. I mean, every year it's a pain getting up the driveway in the springtime. It's just going to be muddy as heck, like it was last year. Even if I scrape it and do all this to it, it's not going to matter. What happens is the ground doesn't thaw out all the way when the sun starts coming out and thaws the snow out. So the snow thaws out, all this water is running everywhere, and the top 1.5 feet or so of dirt is thawed out, but underneath that it's still frozen. So there's a layer of frozen material that has to thaw out. And until that happens, that top layer is just mush. It just turns into a sloppy, moisture-saturated muck. And so it's very sloppy, and then you can't drive your truck up the driveway. So we're gonna fix it. Really hasn't been a lot of dirt on top here. It's been pretty good. It's only been, I don't know, 6 to 8 inches deep in a lot of places. Some chunks of clay and stuff in there, here and there. Just try to get as much of the riffraff out as I can, so it's mostly just gravel. And we'll have a road. Back there, I've only been cutting in, about this deep or so, like when I was last talking to you. And now I'm getting deeper and deeper before I'm getting down to the gravel. So you can see how much, probably almost 3.5 feet, 3 to 3.5 feet now, but it's just more buckets. Just wow, 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 more buckets. So here we go. You'll see every once and again, like right there, and another big one right there, deeper sections. Well, there is some clay-like material in here in some places. And so what I've done is this is all gravelly area, good gravel material, just like back there was. This wettish looking area here, where I've cut a big deep hole, that hole's about 6 feet deep. This hole here is about 3.5 feet deep. These are holes where I cut clay out, or schist or silt, whatever you want to call it. There's different terms for it. I'm honestly not exactly sure what the technical term is, but it essentially looks like clay, like a grayish kind of clay. So, anyways, off we go. This paver thing is on the side over here, and I don't want to bury it, but I don't really want to get out of the excavator either because that takes extra time. So now all I'm going to try to do here is try to slip it into the bucket ever so gentle, pick it up, everybody. Well, we were trying to make the driveway just be gravel, and it didn't quite work out the way we'd hoped. We got into that hole I was talking about earlier when I was excavating, and there was a little bit of clay in there. But I dug the hole down probably deeper than I should have, and it's got some water down in the bottom of it now, and it's pretty mushy. So basically at this point, there's another hole, smaller hole right back here that I'm going to put some gravel in and some fabric. But facing down the driveway, this is pretty mucky here, but not real bad. Then it gets down into the hole, and down in that hole down in there is where it's just kind of a soupy, kind of a mucky clay mess. So we're going to try to bridge it with this geotech fabric and gravel. You can see down yonder, down the driveway, way down there, there's a pile of gravel that I mined it out of the woods right over here with the excavator last night before I stopped working. So I got some gravel, I got my fabric laid out, and now I'll start the process of packing the gravel and dumping it in the hole, one tractor bucket at a time. Things are not going well. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to beat around the bush either. I made a mistake. I'm going to call it out right now. I'm going to tell you straight up. This channel isn't about, trying to hide things or, show half of what happened or whatever. No, I made a mistake with the excavator. I cut way too much material out in the hole. We were talking about that clay kind of material, and I was thinking, oh, I'll cut down, I'll get to the gravel eventually again. Great, and then I can stop. Well, no, I didn't get to the gravel. I went down like 6 feet or so, and I stopped, and I'm like, I'm not getting to the gravel, so I just stopped. Well, then it started to get turn into a problem at that point, because basically the bank, the sides of the bank right here, and then the same thing on the opposite side over there, are starting to slough in. You can see this one here sloughed in pretty substantially. Well, what you can't tell is, you see all this water in here? There, it started raining after I dug this hole, and there was some water from the groundwater even coming into the bottom of the hole after I dug it, and I was already like, oh man, but it hadn't started raining yet. Well, now it's been raining for the last like 2 days, and now it is a soupy, soggy mess. It's not good. So I don't really know what other choice I have other than to fill this literally all the way up to here with gravel and make that taper back in over the top of this next section of fabric and taper into the driveway up there where it's not so messed up. And then I also have another hole up there I have to address as well. So got a lot of gravel. Need a lot of gravel. Well, you know, most people would just go to their local gravel pit, call them up and say, hey, I need a truck to start delivering some gravel out here. We need gravel on our driveway. Well, I mean, we could do that. We could, technically, if we wanted to. That's a lot of money, though. I mean, that's, well, $300-ish, give or take, depending on the material you're going to get, for one truckload, which is going to be about 13, 14 yards. And that's if they give you a real good sized truckload. Now, that's fine if you're going to get 2 or 3 truckloads and you're all set and your driveway's done or whatever. That's not that big of a deal, $900. But when your driveway is, you know, oh gosh, can't even see her going no more. She's out of sight there. Yeah. When your driveway's that long, yeah, unless you're a millionaire, you can't just buy. I mean, we're not going to buy $20,000 worth of gravel to do this driveway. Like, that's not going to happen. Especially not when you have something like this right here. So what we do is you dig it out of the ground. You mine the gravel. And you can see real clearly here what we're dealing with. And also, oh, hey, check this guy out. Right over the top of me. This slow plane. Gotta love it. It's Alaska. And little planes flying everywhere. Okay, anyways, back to business here. So you can see really clearly right here in front of me, this dig where I've done. Now this is down at the bottom of the driveway, down here where you first come in from the road. There's the lake off in the distance out there. You come around. Now, all the gravel that I was talking about earlier where I was explaining how I built this part of the driveway, all that gravel came out of this big old messy, soupy, wet, muddy place over here. And all that area there was dug down about 12 feet deep. All the gravel was thrown up here and moved around. All of the stumps and gook and gunk and everything from the top went inside the bottom, and then all of the dirt and everything got piled back on top. And I leveled it off as good as I could, and not worried about that because it's not anywhere we're ever going to build. And then over here, we made a real driveway, and it didn't cost anything more than the rental of the excavator. So back to business here. This is the dirt line right about here. This is dirt here. That's about 2.5 to 3 feet of dirt. Stops, then you can see the rocks and the gravel start. Boom, 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 all the way to the bottom. Oh, it's about a 6.5 feet deep hole, 7 feet deep. So I got a ways down I can go. I'm starting to get into some pretty serious rocks, but that's okay because what I'm going to do is, since we're the borrowers of our father-in-law's excavator, instead of beating it to death trying to dig deep down in the ground and get every little bit of gravel I can going down as far as I can, I'm going to just go across. So I'm going to dig it down about 6 feet deep like that, which was all really easy digging going through this gravel here. And there aren't really very many big rocks. And that gravel makes a better driveway, which is just nice and smooth and there's no rocks sticking out. So You know, you get rocks like this. I mean, you can see, compared to the size of my foot, that's a pretty big rock. So anyways, you don't want that in the middle of your driveway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear all of this turf off of here. I'm going to cut a bunch of these trees down to open up this area here. And I'm going to save every single tree one way or another, whether it's for firewood or for builder logs. And I have a funny thing to say about that, actually. I had it with you guys. So here's the bottom line. Yeah, I made a mistake with the excavator. I cut the material down too far. But the deal is that's the lay of the land. There isn't anything I can do about it. I didn't put the silty clay there. That's just the way the ground is here. So I learned a lesson. Now I know, instead of digging down, it's probably better just to take off down to the dirt and then put the fabric down on top of the brown dirt and then just put gravel on top of that. And then you'll have a decent driveway, about 1.5 feet thick of gravel, spread it out 2 feet thick, whatever, and call it good, you know. I've tried to plan to do the opposite, where instead of mining a bunch of gravel out and then packing it up and throwing it on top of the dirt, I was just going to cut through the dirt right down to the gravel, thinking like, you know, an inexperienced person, just going to make it all the way up this driveway. And it was going to be like this the whole way, you know. This is all nice gravel right here. And you can see I only cut down a little bit to get to it, you know. Well, way up there, it starts getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's when I should have realized, hey, wait a second, buddy. Something's happening. Something's changing. And I should be paying attention a little closer to that. But no, in my ignorance, I cut a big hole in the ground. Well, anyways, long story short, what the homestead taketh away, the homestead also provideth. So here we are, we're doing the driveway. Oh man, it's a mess. My truck, side note, my truck was up there where I normally park it by the cabin foundation area and all the sheds. Well, I couldn't get it back down the driveway because it was a huge soupy hole. And there's no way I was going to try and drive my truck through that. I'll mop my truck, and I had to get up there that day. I drove up there to go through there. I'm not even sure how the heck I made it through there in the first place, but it must have gotten quite a bit worse over the day. But that's what rain can do. So anyways, my truck was trapped up there all weekend long. I had to have a ride home for my wife, and then I get brought back out here the next morning. So then we're like, well, how the heck do we get the truck out? So we can't come down the driveway. So up there at the end, there is a small trail that takes you to the road that we can ride our four-wheelers on. It goes, you know, through the trees here. Which way am I going? Yeah, through the trees. The road's right back there. And we basically drove my truck out the four-wheeler trail to get it back on the road. And we folded the mirrors in and we drove it through the trees and I made it out. So it's been a little bit of a struggle. You know, this is a problem. I have to fix this. I have to get this ready to go for winter before everything freezes, and I won't be able to mine any gravel anymore, nor will there be anybody that will deliver gravel in the winter because the pits are all closed. The trucks are all shut down. So, you know, the part is that this is a bummer basically. But what's not a bummer is, hey, I get here this morning, I go to with the chainsaw. I've already done this. This is what I did since I got here. A little bit here, and then I'm stacking up builder logs there and the riffraff for like firewood and other uses over there. So, however, did you hear what I said? I said builder logs. You know how many builder logs we need? We need lots of builder logs to finish that cabin. And you guys love watching the cabin, right? Well, we can't build a cabin without builder logs. And look at these bad boys. Look at that guy right there and that guy right there. That one's too small, but these other ones here are too small. But there's a few that are in here. There's a couple of back here. There's this stump that I knocked over with the excavator actually has a couple of sections that are pretty decent size, you know, 5.5 inches around. But here, look at this. Look at that tree. That tree's like a post. That's like a 10-inch around tree. That one back there, right there, that's a good one. I mean, we're going to go around and point them out. There's another good one. You know, there's two There's two good ones right there next to each other. Or sorry, right over here next to each other. It's confusing. There's a good one right there. There's a good one right there. There's a good one right there. Man, I mean, this whole little grove here that I'm going to cut down. I mean, look at all these trees. Like that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. I mean, you guys, jackpot! I mean, are you kidding? So, hey, you know, what we got going on over there is a bummer with the driveway. I'll fix it. I'll get them all. I'll get this singing, and I'll get that gravel, and I'll throw it all up here on the driveway in a big pile like I did before. And then I'll get my tractor, and I'll take it all up there and dump it in the hole. One bucket at a time. It takes a while. That's what I got to do to make it happen. But what is awesome about this is, unexpectedly, we are going to have a bunch of logs for the cabin. And this is what we need. I mean, you can see it's the perfect size. And look at how deadly straight that is. Look at how deadly that is, boys and girls. It's just straight as a frickin' arrow. I mean, I like it. I'm a wood freak now. You know, I mean, this is what I do. I go out here, I use my chainsaw, I cut down logs, and got another plane flying over us. And then I use the excavator to move them around. And that's what I do. Little Mr. Grouse, or Mrs. Grouse. Can't really tell. It might be a female spruce hen.